Chapter 1, Section 8. At Hamamatsu, the two of them ate their boxed lunches as if they had planned it together. Even after they finished, the train showed no sign of moving anytime soon. Looking out the window, he could see 4 or 5 Westerners walking back and forth in front of the train. One couple among them appeared to be husband and wife, and despite the heat, they were walking arm in arm. The woman was dressed in white from head to toe, and she was strikingly beautiful. Up until that day, Sanshiro had seen no more than 5 or 6 Westerners in his entire life. 2 of them had been teachers at the higher school in Kumamoto, and one of those 2 had the misfortune of being a hunchback. Among the women, he knew one missionary. She had quite a sharp, pointed face, the kind you might compare to a salago or a barracuda. So a Westerner this striking and beautiful wasn't just a rare sight. She looked genuinely refined. Sanshiro couldn't take his eyes off her. It made perfect sense to him that Westerners carried themselves with such confidence. He even found himself thinking that if he ever went to the West and found himself among people like these, he would surely feel utterly out of place. As the couple passed by the window, Sanshiro strained to catch their conversation, but couldn't make out a word. Their pronunciation sounded completely different from the teachers back in Kumamoto. Just then, the man from before stuck his head out from behind Sanshiro, muttering, "Doesn't look like it's coming out anytime soon," and glanced briefly at the Western couple who had just walked past. "Ah, how beautiful," he murmured softly, and then let out a lazy, half-stifled yawn. Sanshiro suddenly realized how much he must look like a country bumpkin, and quickly pulled his head back in and sat down. The man returned to his seat as well, and then, "Western people really are something, aren't they?" the man said. Sanshiro didn't have much to say back, so he just gave a vague and smiled. Then the man with the beard said, "What a sorry pair we are," the man said. "With faces like ours, and as weak as we are, it doesn't matter that we won the Russo-Japanese War and became a first-rate nation. It's all for nothing. Though I suppose our buildings and gardens do match our faces well enough. But if this is your first time in Tokyo, you probably haven't seen Mount Fuji yet. You'll see it any moment now, so keep watching. That's Japan's greatest treasure. There's nothing else worth bragging about. But Mount Fuji has just always been there. A gift from nature since ancient times, so there's really nothing we can do about that. We didn't build it ourselves," he said, still smiling that sly smile. Sanshiro never imagined he'd meet someone like this in the years since the Russo-Japanese War. Sanshiro was starting to wonder if this man was even Japanese. "But surely Japan will keep developing from here on," he offered, trying to defend his country. The man said it without missing a beat. "It will collapse." Back in Kumamoto, saying something like that out loud would get you punched on the spot. At worst, you could be branded a traitor. Sanshiro had grown up in an atmosphere where there wasn't room in any corner of his mind for thoughts like these. So Sanshiro began to wonder if the man was just taking advantage of his youth and making a fool of him. The man kept on smiling that same smug little smile, and yet his tone stayed completely calm the whole time. Sanshiro couldn't make heads or tails of the man, so he gave up trying to engage and fell silent. Then the man said, "Tokyo is bigger than Kumamoto. Japan is bigger than Tokyo. Japan is smaller than." He paused, then glanced at Sanshiro's face and saw he was listening closely. "Japan is smaller than what's inside your head," he said. "Don't let yourself get trapped. No matter how much you love Japan, blind devotion will only drag it down." When Sanshiro heard those words, he felt for the first time that he had truly left Kumamoto behind. And in the same moment, he realized how small and timid he had been all those years living there. That evening, Sanshiro arrived in Tokyo. The bearded man never gave his name, even as they parted ways. Sanshiro had assumed that once he got to Tokyo, men like that would be everywhere, so it never even occurred to him to ask the man's name.